Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So I wanted to do this video in regards to the wolves within. What wolf are you feeding in your head? There are two wolves that live inside everyone's mind and in their head, and that's the wolf that is white and the wolf that is black. So you can say that is the wolf of the light and the wolf of the darkness. So actually the wolf within is an old Cherokee legend called Two Wolves, and I'm just going to go ahead and read it to you. Um, an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going inside of me, he said to the little boy. It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil. He is angry, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, the other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside of you and inside every other person too, he said. The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one that you feed. So that's really interesting because when you start to look at the mindset of people, you really do have two wolves that live inside of your brain. Now you can use this, you could use really any term. You could say positivity and negativity live in the brain, or you can say light and darkness live in the brain, good and evil. There is a battle between the two thoughts and brains and the two dualities of the energies of lightness and darkness. And so it is really, really important when you are going through times of struggle and hardship, or when you're going through a moment of a challenge, that you continuously try to to feed the wolf of the light that is within your brain. A lot of that comes through talking to God, having a connection with God, and asking Him for help and asking Him to send His, love and compassion and energies to you to help get you back on a better path. This is really important, especially because today's world, we are living in an egoic problem. So many people have such hardcore, extreme beliefs, or their egos are running on a higher, superior level to where they think that they're always right, everybody else is wrong. These egos will end up clashing with one another, and this is how a lot of wars and fighting have come into play. It's because it's this fire that is within us that makes us believe that we are the only ones that are right, or we have the truth, or our way is the only way of doing it and not anything else. And that's where it actually, it seems like the light is within you, but it's really not. It's actually darkness. The darkness is within to think that you are better than everybody else, or you're more superior. False pride, like that story mentioned, is so important to have a hyper awareness on, because you can think that you're not being prideful at all, but you really have to look in the mirror and give your ego and reality a check to be like, oh God, I am being really prideful. And so the things of the light are the compassion, it's that empathy, empathy toward yourself and toward other people, and just to know that people are on their path. So this, I feel like mental health is a massive problem today. We are more sensitive now than we ever have been. Some of that I do think is just part of the way humanity is going. Others, I think the oversensitivity is too socially engineered. We have to find a balance and a mix, because I think being sensitive has a lot of good qualities, especially when it comes to romantic relationships and to matters of the heart, because that's where a lot of pure, genuine love comes from, a heart that is sensitive. And it's really difficult to navigate in this world because a lot of people tend to take advantage of people who have sensitive hearts, or they capture someone who has a more tender heart and then they flush it down the toilet, because it's just easy to take advantage of, or just easy to corrupt and things like that. So people who are suicidal, they have to, or people who struggle with depression or anxiety or any sort of really, I don't know what the word is, extreme mental health disorder, like being bipolar or schizophrenic. When you come to these points of panic or low points in the mind, you have to go immediately to some source that is going to feed your brain with something of the light. There's so many tools and techniques out there. I do think having a connection with God can really help. But I do think in the mundane, earth plane, logical world, that certain things like having a therapist, a support group, a friend, or maybe it's a book on affirmations, something that you can connect to, even if it is a meditation or like you like going for walks in nature, whatever can feed the wolf of the light within you, you need to connect to that, especially during low points or times of hardship. I think today, everybody has lightness and darkness that's within them. Some people have this mindset in certain spiritual communities that heaven and hell exists within your mind, and I do believe in that. And the thing is, if people, even Christians don't necessarily understand energy, but if they believe in the light and the Holy Spirit, and if they believe in Lucifer and Satan and darkness, that is energy, and that energy exists within us. We eat energy to survive, and we also expend energy just for survival. Like our brains and our organs and our lungs need a certain amount of calories in order to just be able to function and survive. Obviously, you look at pictures of people in Auschwitz, they were skin on bones because they were expending so much energy and eating like 300 calories a day. So I guess where I kind of lost my train of thought, but we need to be able to really understand our own mindsets. And if hell or darkness, whatever quality you want to think about, negativity is starting to become bigger and bigger, like a snowball within your brain, you're continuously feeding that. A lot of people do these self-sabotaging behaviors where they get depressed and then they start emotionally eating, or they start to go to a bar and have an alcoholic drink, and it starts with one, and then one starts to turn into 9, and then eventually you're just an alcoholic. So if you continue to feed the darkness is going to win, and that dark ball of energy is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's really important to put the brakes on, take a step back, take a deep breath. The breath is light, it is spirit, and try to focus on something that is positive, or feed your mindset and your soul with something positive. Especially, I use a lot of generic terms because I know not everybody watching this believes in God. So I'm trying to provide some guidance for people who maybe are, not necessarily believers, or maybe they're atheists, that you can still find tools and techniques to help you get out of these negative mindsets. I see this a lot in the tech industry with people who have ADD. I just think it's unnatural for people to sit behind a computer screen for 8+ hours a day and, work on code. I think when you're feeding your brain that type of style of movement with your eye-hand coordination, like the brain is naturally going to change, and a lot of people do become very they have a lack of focus, or they develop ADD, people who work in the tech industry. I think it's just because it's unnatural. So some things like meditation actually does help these people to calm their mind and to kind of focus on one thing at once, rather than their mind and eyes racing around everywhere. So, you can take this to whatever degree that you want, but I do believe that if you are focusing on the light, if you have trust, belief, and faith in God, things will start to take care of themselves, and God will send you or bring you people in your life that will continue to help feed the light within you. I do think we get tested all the time where darkness can, weasel its way in to see if we'll go back to old behaviors and habits and stuff like that. I do think that definitely happens. But I do believe in a lot of divine interventions to help get us on the right path in life. And I think sometimes when we fall off that path, it's really easy and common, but it's important to stay grounded and focused to continue on that path. So whatever adjective or descriptive words you want to use, the light and the dark exists within us. And a lot of people have issues with their shadow side still. And a lot of the shadow side still is a lot of, the superficial realms of life. It's the materialism, it's the lust that you have for somebody. It's that lack of contentment that you want to have it all. Or, I see this a lot in out in the West Coast with these like open relationships and polyamorous communities. It's like they're not really content with one person. They don't think that all of their needs can be fulfilled through one person, so they have multiple partners. And I think to some degree that's a lot. It's self-destructive in itself. I'm not going to go down that road, but that is darkness to some degree, because when you are content, especially say like in a monogamous relationship where you can adore one person and one person can adore you, and that's all that you need in life, like that comes from a very high place that you don't need all of the other distraction and stuff outside of you or other men or women in your life to give you attention and to emotionally cheat and things like that. So when you continue to feed the light, you tend to become, you get more pure throughout time. And I see this a lot with a lot of yoga students or former yoga students. They start doing yoga and they start exercising more, and their body is craving more natural, healthy food. And when you crave natural and healthy food, you tend to not want to connect to the bad stuff. So people tend to start losing their desire to have to drink alcohol all the time. I see this a lot in yoga where people are like, I just don't really want to drink anymore. And it's because your body feels good. And drinking a lot of alcohol or just too much, like if you're doing it every weekend, like your body just is going, that alcohol is going to catch up to you. So and it's going to make you feel like garbage. So the more pure that you can become, it's really, that's really difficult for a lot of people because you have to detach from darkness and you have to find a lot of contentment in your life to be satisfied with the things that you have, or the friendships that you have, or the lover or the spouse that's in your life and things like that. So I say walk into the light. That's the best thing that anybody can do. And the more you feed the light, the brighter that lamp and that light will get. That doesn't mean you're going to be completely guarded or completely, you will attract darkness. Darkness is attracted to the light. The dark needs to feed off the light. But once you become brighter inside, you can best learn how to navigate yourself and have borders and boundaries on your own personal life and body to some degree, to where you can block out or just have a barrier toward darkness and be like, that no longer serves me. Nope. Even in the mindset, when somebody starts bringing you down, it's like, you know what, this stuff no longer serves me. I'm walking away from it. So these are some thoughts that I have about the wolf that's within. If you have any thoughts or comments on this, or how you've helped yourself through hardships, definitely please comment, because I think we can all learn from each other through our life experiences. That's what makes the world go round. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please subscribe to this channel if you can. And you can also support me on Patreon. All right, see you guys later. Bye.